He was able to plan the almost perfect heist, except he didn't think it all the way through. This Billions actor decided to turn to serious crimes. Just because? And this girl decided to let a 1-year-old take a hit. Then this guy robbed a bank to pay for his wedding, only to be turned in by the last person he thought would turn him in. Let's get right to some of the dumbest and wildest crimes committed, starting with number 6, big financial burdens. 33-year-old Devin Aguilar, once a star wide receiver in high school and later for the University of Washington, wound up trying to play a very different kind of game. A $1.2 million heist. With his brief NFL career behind him, he was a wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans in 2012, where he appeared in one preseason game and was released. Aguilar turned to a meticulously planned robbery, aiming to score big. But things didn't go exactly as planned, because almost NFL skills apparently don't exactly translate to heist planning. In late 2021, Aguilar dressed head to toe in black, covering every inch of himself and wearing gloves and a mask. Armed and determined, he followed a cash transport van carrying over $1 million. The unsuspecting driver pulled into the garage of a money transport business, completely unaware of the ambush that awaited her. Aguilar took her by surprise, and with his firearm drawn, demanded she fill 2 large trash bags with cash. For someone who had once made running with a football while large men tried to tear his head off look easy, carrying a few bags full of cash should have been a breeze, right? Well, not quite. As it turns out, Aguilar hadn't accounted for the sheer weight of all that cash. He was pretty strong, but most of those bills were like 20s and 100s, so the bags probably weighed somewhere between 90 pounds to 120 pounds. Even just carrying 2 bags weighing that much, let alone trying to make an escape with them, is asking a lot. So he struggled and ultimately abandoned the bags under a tree 700 yards away from the business and made his escape. But the stupid thinking didn't end there. When Aguilar left the bags, he also left behind the gloves he wore during the heist. Maybe he was confused about what Johnny Cochran said during the OJ trial, that if the gloves didn't fit, then the jury must acquit. Because not only did the gloves fit, but police were able to run a DNA test on the gloves that proved they belonged to him. He might as well have just left the note with all of his socials and his ID card. But the plot thickens, because Aguilar wasn't acting alone. Investigators quickly discovered that there was an inside connection. His girlfriend, 54-year-old Fan Huya, yeah, that's a 20-year gap, but the heart wants what the heart wants, right? Was a lead teller at the transport company. She claimed she didn't know about Aguilar's plans, yet police found video and detailed sketches of the heist on her phone, showing she was clearly more involved than she let on. Which, she had to be the brains of the operation, right? Because Aguilar clearly wasn't. During the investigation, Huya apparently mocked Aguilar for his idiotic mistake with the gloves, calling him dumb for leaving such a crucial piece of evidence behind. Which, seriously, everyone knows what DNA evidence is at this point, and Aguilar was probably sweating in these gloves. It seems like just calling him dumb was being very generous. As the case unraveled, both Aguilar and Huya took plea deals. Huya received 6 months in jail and probation, while Aguilar faced a harsher sentence. Prosecutors initially requested a long prison term for him, aiming for 15 to 20 years. But the judge settled on just 1 year, and Aguilar was released after serving less than 7 months. A leniency that didn't sit well with either the authorities or the business he attempted to rob. Though Aguilar expressed his remorse, calling himself accountable, whatever he thinks that means, since this guy clearly isn't a brain, many were left questioning whether justice had really been served. But really, we are quite impressed at his physical skills. Props to him for carrying those heavy bags 700 yards. It's actually really hard to carry trash bags weighing that much that far, and you know those things were awkward and probably swinging while he was trying to run with them. Number 5. Florida priest bites woman because Florida. Father Fidel Rodriguez of St. Cloud, Florida, faced controversy after a Sunday incident where a dispute over Holy Communion escalated in an unexpected way. When an unnamed woman reached out to grab the communion wafer from the ciborium he held, Rodriguez, a priest at St. Thomas Aquinas Church, responded by chomping her hand. And why do such a thing, you may be wondering? Was he hungry? Was he bit by a zombie and the infection finally took over? Was he rabid after playing with an infected possum or something? We know it's Florida, so any of those things are a possibility. But it was none of them. Earlier that day, the woman had apparently attended a service where Father Rodriguez had denied her communion as she seemed unfamiliar with the proper reception guidelines. Instead, he gave her a blessing, encouraging her to first go to confession, which, fair enough, right? If you're going to go to church, they have rules and requirements you're supposed to follow if you want to participate. But when she returned at a later service, the priest again requested her readiness for the sacrament, but this time, she attempted to take the communion wafer directly from the ciborium, which is a sacred vessel used to hold and distribute communion hosts in Christian services. Father Rodriguez, seeing this as an act of disrespect, reacted by biting her hand to protect what he considered sacred. The woman and her companion later reported the incident to police, showing a minor bruise on her arm. According to the police report, while the priest admitted to the bite, he insisted he was simply defending the sanctity of communion, as he believed the woman's actions could desecrate the holy item. The Diocese of Orlando backed Father Rodriguez, acknowledging his intention to protect the sacrament while also clarifying that physical altercations such as biting aren't condoned, which is nice that they're taking a stance on this one. Preschools also have similar stances, but still, it's good that the church was like, yeah, we get it, but he shouldn't have bit the lady. Meanwhile, police referred the case to the state attorney's office for review, though Rodriguez wasn't arrested. Number 4. Keeping notes. Amalia Lillian Helton, who at the time of her crimes was a stay-at-home mother from Southgate, Michigan, got herself nailed with some charges after authorities linked her to a series of bank robberies in the Downriver area. While law enforcement believe she was responsible for at least 5 robberies, she has only been formally charged with 1. It all began when a task force from local police departments tracked Helton, suspecting she had hit multiple banks, each time suspiciously disguised in a floppy hat, sunglasses, or hoodie. On a warm summer day, investigators watched her walk into a Lincoln Park bank with a hoodie pulled up, a conspicuous choice given the weather. It seems like the staff might have recognized her, prompting her to leave quickly. However, police caught up with her shortly after and made an arrest. Helton's alleged robbery spanned several months. She was suspected of robbing a bank in Allen Park in late 2018, followed by another in Southgate. The incidents paused over winter, but resumed with another Southgate robbery in May, a Riverview Bank robbery in early June, and then lastly the incident in Wyandotte. Each time she used a similar approach. No threats, no firearms or anything else, just a simple note demanding cash, which she kept as a keepsake. Authorities pieced together her identity with help from community tips, persistent detective work, and a sharp-eyed Southgate officer who recognized her vehicle. Helton, who has no prior record, and as of last reports, was awaiting trial with a bond set at $250,000. She was facing a possible life sentence if convicted, which seems like a bit much for some bank robberies that didn't hurt anyone. But interestingly enough, we couldn't find any public records of her sentencing or conviction. It's weird that she kept the notes as keepsakes though, right? That's definitely a strange type of behavior. Not something you'd see from some slick bank robber in a goofy costume. Number 3. Criminal Acts. Achille McDowell, known for his roles in David Makes Man and a brief appearance on Billions, is facing some serious criminal charges. Despite a promising career, this young actor is charged with an incident involving Cesar Peralta in Houston. McDowell, only 21, found himself in legal trouble, first facing a theft charge for stealing some expensive headphones, followed by an arrest for his alleged involvement in the tragic incident just a day later. Investigators reported that the incident occurred in the parking lot of an apartment complex in East Harris County. Deputies responded to the scene where they found 20-year-old Peralta injured. Sadly, he didn't make it. Witnesses said that Peralta had been involved in an altercation with McDowell, who then fled on foot after the incident. Known for his role in David Makes Man as a teenage prodigy fighting to escape hardship, McDowell once described how the character mirrored his own struggles and dreams. Now, instead of earning accolades, he's likely earning prison time, held on a $400,000 bond in Harris County Jail. The details of his connection to Peralta and the motive behind his actions remain unclear, adding to the mystery surrounding the case. Despite his breakout as David, a symbol of resilience and ambition, McDowell's choices tell a sadly different story. With court dates for both the theft and the more serious charge ahead as of the release of this video, fans and the industry are left questioning how a promising actor's life could veer so far from the inspiring path he once portrayed on screen. It's dumb that this kid threw away a promising career over nothing. Well, obviously it was over something, but we highly doubt that whatever that something was, it was worth throwing away a potentially lucrative career and obviously someone's actual life. Number 2, not a role model. 17-year-old Naledi Roberts was arrested by the Pinella County Sheriff's Office in Largo, Florida, after a video surfaced of her holding a lit item we can't name on here to the mouth of a 1-year-old child she was babysitting for a 16-year-old mother. The footage apparently showed the toddler inhaling as the embers glowed before Roberts took a drag herself. Her actions disgusted everyone who saw the video, especially considering how the evidence came to light. Detectives initially responded to allegations, but didn't have direct evidence until they stumbled upon the video. Roberts first admitted to smoking nearby, but denied involving the child until the video confronted her claims. Placing this kind of behavior on video, especially with such serious implications, shows a concerning lack of judgment, which was likely why it ended up catching the attention of the police. We're not totally sure if she was the one who posted the video online, but it seems like she probably did, which makes the whole thing even more outrageous. Like anyone was going to watch that and think she was cool or something. After her arrest, Roberts didn't offer any reason for her actions, probably because any explanation would only make her look worse. As of the release of this video, she's facing a felony charge, which could mean up to 5 years behind bars. Florida law takes anything with kids very seriously, and Roberts may find herself facing some harsh consequences, likely without much sympathy. Regardless of personal views on that particular plant, giving it to a baby isn't just reckless, it's dangerous and potentially life-altering. An infant's developing brain and body are highly sensitive to those compounds, which can disrupt brain growth, motor skills, and critical cognitive functions essential for their future. This is already a rough start for that child, and if these acts are any indication of the character of the types of people being trusted with this kid's care, things don't look exactly promising. Number 1. Unsolved wedding expenses. Heath Edward Bumpus from Crockett, Texas, planned to walk down the aisle, but instead, he found himself walking into a courtroom. Bumpus was arrested for robbing Citizens State Bank, aiming to cover last-minute wedding expenses, including the rings and venue. But things quickly took an unexpected turn when his fiancée stumbled upon his face all over social media. The day before his wedding, Bumpus went into the bank and demanded cash for his big day. He received the money, discarded his clothes and the item he used to make his threats, and tried to make his escape. Little did he know, his picture was making rounds online, courtesy of the local sheriff's office. And as luck, or perhaps fate, would have it, his fiancée recognized him in the bank surveillance shots shared on Facebook. She gave him a call, confirming her suspicions and urging him to turn himself in. Taking her advice, Bumpus went to the Houston County Courthouse, where he confessed. According to authorities, Bumpus told the bank teller he needed the money for his wedding the next day, explaining that finances were tight. Sheriff Woody Wallace, who posted the suspect's photo online, later confirmed that most of the cash was recovered after Bumpus surrendered. The couple's wedding plans were left uncertain, overshadowed by the looming legal consequences. Bumpus faces charges of aggravated robbery, and his case is now heading to a grand jury. The sheriff expressed that the law would handle the situation fully, and for Bumpus, it seems like that his big day might be on hold for a while. What do you think about this case? Do you kind of feel bad for this guy who apparently valued the day so much that that he was willing to risk jail time in order to make his bride's dreams come true? Or is the fact that he decided to rob a bank indicative of a potentially darker streak, one that might suggest a lack of judgment or impulse control? Do you think there were other options he could have taken, or was this a desperate act of love that went way too far? Let us know in the comments below. Click to watch one of these next videos.